So the Biden administration is proposing that 44.6% of unrealized gains are going to be taxed for people in certain brackets, right? This is a major problem. So let's talk
We have
about
to
that.
define that. Let's
No,
define.
I'm
So in
about
case
to.
people are
Yeah.
unclear, what are unrealized gains?
Unrealized gains means that everyone here can understand from just the lens of homeownership. So let's say that you have $100,000 of equity in your property, and when you went to go file taxes, you would have to pay taxes on the equity sitting in your house that you have not cashed out on. You didn't take a loan against, you didn't borrow against, you didn't sell the property. So if you buy a stock for $1 and that stock goes up to $2, they're proposing a tax on the unrealized gains. Realized gains is when you sell and you deposit that profit into your bank account. Unrealized gains is when it's just sitting there. So imagine the wealth that exists in this country and that money's just sitting there. They want to tap into that so that they can pay the bills that they're creating with the money that they're printing out of thin air. The number one cause of inflation in the United States of America is government spending. So if you're not paying attention to how your government is spending while you're casting your vote, I would like to ask that you should.
Okay. Go ahead, Jade.
No, I was just saying that. I mean, which is the reason why we were talking. I guess when you froze a little bit about the current administration and how it's. I mean, it's interesting because we're coming into election season coming up in just a few months, and like I feel like obviously our choices are very limited as they always are. But you're right. We do have to look at the bigger picture. We have to stop voting for, and I'm not telling anybody to vote either way, but I think that we have been conditioned to vote party as opposed to voting like what are the policies, like policies over party, right? And so but that takes us doing research or listening to somebody like you, Patty, that knows how to break these things down for us to really truly understand policy. Because somebody like me, like Nasima, that I'm not into politics, I don't always understand the policy, right? Until moments like this. So
Well, I would like to add just a quick note on that, Jay, because I think you would understand this better than most. So you remember that there was a controversy not too long ago with the NFL, and then a lot of people took a big problem with Jay-Z stepping in, kind of stepping on Kaepernick's toes and making a deal with the NFL. A lot of people were mad about that. And I'm going to put aside the fact that I'm a Jay-Z stan when I say this, okay? Jay-Z has an unbelievable understanding of what the power of economics can do.
yeah.
I think people need to start understanding that you vote with your dollars. And I highlighted that example because it pissed people off. And sometimes you need to get mad to open your eyes. You might get mad and get your vision blurred just a tad bit before you can open your eyes and see the truth. As a demographic, whether you are Middle Eastern like me, or whether you're Black like the other ladies on here, or maybe Asian or Pacific Islander or whatever else you might be, right? You are targeted based on areas of your life that would trigger you emotionally so that there would be some sort of response. We have to be able to, just like I always say, the fundamentals of making decisions that can separate you from emotion is math. You guys have to understand that without economics, you don't have any power, A, for survival, and B, for all the other things. So as communities coming together with economic power, we need to ask ourselves why the Asian community has surpassed Black and white communities in terms of wealth when we want to talk about generational wealth. We need to talk about the fact that we're out here talking about generational wealth, and that taxes on unrealized gains strips that, because it could essentially be a tax that is implemented upon death when the wealth is transferred to the next person, and there are not enough entities under the law that can protect you from that. So we have to get smarter about economics, right? So we do have to understand that you vote with your dollars. I am not a political person, and I'm not endorsing either party. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a CPA, but I want you to understand the math before you make decisions, because future generations depend on it. That's that.
Okay, and we'll just go ahead and just drop that
drop
mic
mic.
right there.
Yeah,
Drop mic.
drops the mic.
Nasima, you're reacting to what she is saying. What are you thinking right now?
Oh, so many thoughts, so many thoughts. I mean, all of it is 100% correct. And that's why I teach financial empowerment, because the only way you can truly make change is to hit people in their pockets, or have the ability to pad your pockets when something is awry, right? And it's just like, I like to tell people, like, your dollar is going to drive your life, right? And what matters to you is going to be dependent on your financial stability. And if you're always in a financial unstable place, a financially unstable place, then you're always in survival mode and you're not going to be able to be in a position to make better decisions that are going to impact you in the long term. And I think that a lot of us are still in a position where we're scrambling just to make ends meet. And we can't even look at the bigger picture because it's all about being in survival mode. And so I'm just like listening to everything Patty says. And, it's a big leap to be able to um, make moves like Jay-Z from a financial standpoint. However, a lot of people don't understand the powers that they have at the local levels to be able to impact change. And I think by empowering people to understand that they need to understand, they need to be able to vote for their district attorneys, they need to be able to vote for their judges, their local officials, and the impacts that those votes have are some things that you can do even if you don't have the economic wherewithal of a Jay-Z. So there's levels, and I think that so many people are just in survival mode. They can't even think past what they can do to survive day to day. So I think it's so good to highlight these things, Patty, because it's hard to shift your thinking into these concepts because where a lot of people right now are just literally in survival mode.